What do you get when you throw two natural born intuitive mediums together with a passion for animals and empowerment?
Spirits, angels, and guides. Oh my. I'm empowerment medium Tara Diana.
And I am intuitive medium Nancy Brady. Together, we focus on the good,
The bad,
and the ugly of working with the spirit realm.
but mostly we're focusing on the good.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, Tara.
Hello, Nancy. Long time no see.
I know. It's like 5 minutes ago, it feels like.
Are you good?
I'm good. Today, we got a good topic. We're going to talk about manifestation, but we're going to talk a little, it's like a big hot button word right now. But I think the really cool part that we're also going to talk about is release. Because everybody talks manifest, but not everybody gets into the release part, which is super important.
And I also feel that the release part of it gets sidelined by the complexity that people put on the word release. Oh, we have to release. Oh, we have to release everything. Oh, we have to and it has to be dramatic and it has to be this big thing. And release can be the littlest thing. It can be going to work, and traffic, not going to work. You don't want to release going to work, but maybe you do. But release the traffic getting to work, release coming home and having to do the dishes, release. It can be the little things because the little things build up to become the big things. So when people talk about release and they get all, I love it when people say, I have nothing to release, I'm good.
Ooh.
And I don't know why. Trigger 209.
I can't wait till we do that episode. It's going to be good.
It might be like a 17-parter, but I always think to myself, you have nothing. You are sitting in bliss. Now, it's not about me judging anyone in that state. If someone can say that to me and it's in all honesty and absolute truth, because we can convince ourselves we have nothing. Remember, we can do the mind games thing. Then I would be like, baby, get on our podcast and tell our audience how you do that.
Yep.
9 times out of 10 or 9.9 times out of 10, it's not the truth. They're just having a good moment. They just aren't feeling the other stuff. And that's another thing, Nancy, that gets brought up. Well, why do I have to dredge up everything again? No one's asking you to. And this is why I think when we talk about release, people get it confused.
Yeah.
Misunderstand it.
I think too, so one of the things I'm putting together right now is, you hear the term shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting together an animal shadow work class.
Oh.
And it's one of those things, like when I first really started going gung-ho down the rabbit hole, researching all sorts of different things, because I like to do that.
And God, she does, because I do not.
And I came across the term shadow work. I didn't like it. And I avoided it like the plague, same as soul retrieval, because and we'll talk about that, because of the preconceptions my head had of the negative connotations around that. And I think it's very similar with release. Once I started to understand all of that, though, I was like, oh, so shadow work is just about doing the healing. Shadow work, you don't have to go super deep and like, I don't know, 5 meters below the earth kind of to deal with your feelings and this and that. But it is something that when you can shine the light on something that has hurt you, you can start to heal from it. You can start to forgive. You can start to grow your heart space. There's all these very, very simplistic ways that doesn't have to be so complicated.
Well, it's a conversation you start to have with yourself, right?
Yeah.
How you go with that conversation is up to you.
And it's about doing the work. How deep do you want to go and how much work do you want to do? Because it's also how high and how far do you want to go from it, right? So, in order to do mediumship and help people, I had to forgive a lot of people from my past. But not only them, I had to forgive myself, because I couldn't come to the reading from a place, healed from some of the issues that I had, whether it be daddy issues or whatever. You kind of go, okay, if I'm going to be doing a reading for someone who's also having those sort of issues, I have to have my stuff healed in order to sit and help someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Now, one of the things that we did touch on the last podcast, and I'm just going to divert for 5 seconds, but I feel that it's also really positive until I just let you loose on manifestation. We had talked in the last podcast, if for those binge listening, to go over which animal helps us with trust.
Oh, yes. Yes, girlfriend.
Yeah, and I really think that this will also help us with the manifestation part. So trust, if I had to come up with one animal that I would ask to have beside me on my journey on trust, it would be a dog. It would be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Now, dogs are 100% loyal. They trust. Tara and I both have volunteered in rescue for years. And you get some of these dogs who have come from such horrible beginnings, and they just trust the new person right away and turn it around on a dime and love unconditionally. So I would say, if you wanted to do any sort of work with trust, to bring dog spirit animal, and they just have such an internal enthusiasm and unconditional love and trust that they can't help but do anything and lift your energy up when you're working with them.
So true. So true. You know, I always feel like I'm supposed to have these answers when we have conversations about things like, so what animal do you think it is? And I'm like, yeah, dog. Absolutely dog.
Yeah.
And if you want to be told what to do, get a cat.
Right? They're just like way more aloof, and they'll tell you what to do. But I do feel, manifestation is also the big T word comes in a lot with that.
The more that we work with manifestation, and this again is one of those things where Tara's going to beak off quite a bit, but I'm getting annoyed, Nancy, with the whole manifestation. Everyone manifest this and manifest that. It should be it should be part of our natural, intuitive, innate self that we set intentions with purpose, with passion plus purpose equals empowerment. Say it's passion plus purpose equals empowerment. Everyone now, passion plus purpose equals empowerment. Passion plus purpose. Okay, so the whole thing that is starting to, I find, to become a little grating on the nerves is when that people don't actually know how to manifest. You've heard me talk about it before. Everyone that follows me knows the story about, parking angels and all these things. And so spiritualism is one of those things where people get very caught up in the woohoo part of it and the beautifulness of it, because there's nothing more beautiful than knowing that spirit's working with you, that we can raise our vibrations, that we can do all this, but we get caught up in that. Okay. And people get really caught up in that. And all of a sudden they're making things up, and they've got a parking angel that comes and helps them park. And I have a shopping angel who helps me find the exact size I need. To know that you are setting intentions about what you need, and you are powerful and purposeful enough to make that happen. Can we go there? Can we talk about setting intentions, setting powerful intentions, and then using your innate intuitive self to make those things happen? Now, spirit is not up there, as far as I've ever been told by spirit, sitting there going, well, Nancy needs a parking spot. Let's go right in front of Costco. Here we go.
But I do believe in joy guides helping me get one when I need one, I'm going to say.
I believe that, Nancy, you're powerful enough to make that shit happen.
Yes, this is true.
I'm just going to say it. I do believe it, and you can believe in joy, spirits, and sprites, and all those good things. But I truly believe that you are powerful enough in your belief in who you are and what you can do, what you are capable of, to get that work done. So that brings us to that place of intention and manifestation. The manifestation portion of all of this has to come from a place of you have to do the work. So, too many people say, well, it didn't happen. I've been trying to manifest. But if you don't know how to truly set intentions, if you don't realize that spirit's not up there looking down on you saying, oh my gosh, you need this. Okay, here you go. You have to lay the groundwork for it. And let me give you an example of something. I have a beautiful friend. She's absolutely just, not only is she stunning to look at, she's just a lovely, lovely spiritual soul. And we were talking about hosting
Just kidding.
together. Yeah, yes, it was you. Huh? How did you know? How did you guess?
Couldn't resist. You just let that one up. I had to take it.
So we were talking about hosting an event together. And I said that I had a little bit of trepidation about some of the more logistical angles to it. Now, just a reminder, everyone, I am a full-time medium mentor, spiritual mentor. I work this job just like I work any other job. I'm just happy I love it as much as I do. So I still have to have a business mind somewhere in there. And I don't have, I'm not logical, I'm not analytical. I am. It's just not my forte. I'd much rather be over here creating and growing and prospering that way. But I have learned a lot in my 22 plus years of doing this work. And this is my business. And I wanted to grow not only for me, but for the community. So I said this to her. I said, well, I have a little trepidation about this little thing over here. And the response I got back to her from her was, well, if you're sitting in that mindset, you're going to set yourself up for it not to work. And I absolutely thought to myself, whoa, Nellie, you don't know who you're talking to, do you, girlfriend? I was like, let's tiptoe through the tulips down the road of manifestation, what it really is. And here's my view on this, Nancy, and interject anytime you'd want to. My view of manifestation is that you have to have the blueprint for the manifestation. You have to know what it is that you're looking for. Okay? What are you trying to manifest? And then when you go from there, you have to go to, okay, so what do I have to bring to the table here? If I'm putting up this manifestation, what do I need to know to make this happen? Okay? It's like, I want to bake a cake. I know I want to bake a cake. What ingredients do I need to bake this cake? What supplies do I need? And from there, everything, let me make the best cake possible. So I sent a message back to her and I went, LOL. I said, you got to have your ducks in a row, baby. When you're doing any kind of intention work, you got to have ducks in a row. And she's so lovely. And she, we were bantering. She wrote back, said, I love your ducks. And I wrote back, only when they're in a row. I truly believe, and we laughed, we just had this moment, but I truly believe that if you are not doing the work while you are setting intentions and manifesting, if you do not know what you're manifesting, if you're just putting out jibber jabber and you don't have that blueprint and you don't start gathering the supplies that you need to make this happen, Spirit's looking down going, maybe this isn't for your highest and best. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like you're that invested. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like you're that invested.
You're balancing a lot of that human and the soul, though, right? Like any business venture a person does has to have that logical portion that shows that investment. It has to have the ducks in the row, like you're talking about, right? If you're going to have an event, but
right.
If you're going to have an in-person event and you can't figure out how to book a hall, well, that's a problem. So,
it's not very likely that the hall is going to book itself for you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So
for me, intention setting and manifestation has to come from a place of knowing. So, but you can do those off the fly intentions, like your So let's go back to the parking lot, Nancy, because apparently that's my favorite place when it comes to manifestations and intentions. If you're driving along and you are thinking the whole time, oh, I got to get to Costco. I need to get in and out of there super quick. God, let there be parking. Please let there be parking. You're setting that yourself up. You're going there. You're knowing you're going to be looking for it. You're knowing why you need to get in there, why you need to get out. All you need is that spot to show up.
Yep.
You're doing the work. Now, you want to go deeper than that, though, Nancy, and you want to start doing the whole manifestation, release manifestation for the bigger things, the really big work, or you just want to focus on release. Manifestation goes into the release. afterwards because you have an empty space. You've released all of this and you don't want to leave empty space, so you manifest stuff into it. That's a different ballgame as well. What are your feelings on that?
On the actual release part?
Well, the release and filling it, right? Because when you release something, it's like the soul retrieval. Soul retrievals, you're bringing something back to you that you've let go of. Usually it's a very traumatic experience, right? And you saved yourself in your humanness in that moment by cutting a piece of yourself and sending it away. So sending a piece of your soul away is what they call it. And when you're ready to call that piece back, it's the retrieval. You bring it back. But when you're releasing, to me, it's a similar idea. When you're releasing, whether it's something little or something big, you need to fill that space. Because if you don't, what happens is you feel empty.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you feel empty?
Exactly. A lot of us self-medicate. I don't but I think that's
We eat chocolate and peanut butter.
exactly. Tara and I love the chocolate. But it's one of those things for everything that you take away, you have to replace it. And I think that that's a really, really important thing. Because a lot of times when we're originally starting out in our spiritual development, sometimes I find like some of the mentors missed those big key components when I was learning from them. Like it's one thing, you hear manifestation, that's the key word, it's the catchphrase. I think we're all on the same page that we agree we have the power to do this. It's the release part that I don't think is covered enough, because I do feel maybe the release needs to come before the manifestation in some cases.
Absolutely does. Absolutely, 100%.
So if I come to you and say, I want to do some manifestation and release, the first thing we're going to do is release.
First thing. And you're not going to fight me on it.
No. And then we need to fill.
No.
I would never. We very much enjoy our banters. Every now and then I'll like throw something in just to do a Tara trigger. Because
She does that. It's like her thing now. I've told, oh my God, it's her thing. And now she's got our listeners doing it. If they're answering me comments, and they'll be like, oh, trigger 210 for Tara. I'll be like, Nancy Grady, where are you? But they're not wrong. They're never wrong. Unfortunately, when you've been doing this work as long as I have, you become jaded.
We're just going to write a list of them, and one day that will be a podcast. It'll be entertaining.
I promise it.
100%, you need to fill it with goodness, ooey gooey, rainbow goodness, and put that back in and make sure that you're starting from a place of completion in order to start that manifestation, because you're coming from a whole place when you're doing it.
And here's the thing, in the moment, sometimes when you're doing that release work, it's a little bit down and dirty. And for real, that happens. You're letting some stuff go that's really heavy. You haven't learned how to let the little stuff go yet. That's not that you're working on the big stuff because that's what's predominant for you. And you don't have something to manifest because you've just done this huge release. I always say to people, if you don't know what to manifest, if you don't know what intention to set to fill that empty feeling, because that empty feeling left empty will bring that same stuff back you just let go of. And why will it do that? Because it's comfortable. You don't want it. You don't like it, but it's comfortable. It's what you know.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's key.
Right? It's what you know. So, I say self-love. You can never have enough self-love, self-worth, self-esteem. Fill yourself to the brim until you are like little rainbows pouring out of your ears, right? With self-love and self-worth. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with a healthy ego.
Agreed.
There is nothing wrong with a healthy ego. If you are good at what you do, and damn Skippy, you are good at reading animals, girlfriend.
Thank you. And you're great at reading people and empowering them.
Oh, thank you. See, now we got rainbows coming out of our ears and it's feeling good. But my point being here, if you're good at what you do, you need to own it. And it doesn't, if someone else sees it as, oh, she's an ego, off you go. Because I need to be able to celebrate what I do. I need to be able to realize that the work I'm doing is helping others. Now, if I was running around with false rainbows coming out of my ear, and I'm really doing more damage than I am good and all this jazz, then that's a different story, right? But own your stuff and sit in healthy ego. There is nothing wrong with that. And it's your authentic self in the end.
Agreed.
The highest vibration, authenticity. Second highest is love. Right?
I think so. And I think that that's probably a great time to wrap it up, unless you have any last minute thoughts.
Oh, sweet goddess, you didn't just ask me that. I could go on and on forever with all.
Okay, remember, we're trying to keep our listeners' attention and keep it to half hour.
I'm good. I want to thank you for bringing up that spirit animal and trust, though. Dog is a beautiful, beautiful animal. Hey, for the next one, who would we be working with? Who would we? What animal would we be working with for manifestation? Shall you ponder that and come back to it?
I think that this is something that would be unique to each person.
Oh,
yeah, because I do feel, with the spirit animals across the board, it's dependent on what you're going to manifest. What is it that you need to manifest, right?
love this.
Yeah, it's going to be very individual. It's going to be very unique to each person. So,
That including for releasing them?
I think so.
Oh.
Because different animals are going to have different release ability. Like, for example, and I made reference earlier to some daddy issues. I brought in Phoenix for that. I burned that shit up and I grew stuff new out of it. So that was my release animal, right? Whereas manifest and filling it back with love was something as simple as it was like a mama bear energy for me. But bear in a lot of other situations means power. But for me, it meant protection and hibernation and how a mama bear protects her cubs fearlessly. And that energy was protecting me and filling me with love and strength.
Yeah, it's protecting you in a vulnerable time, for real.
Yeah. So it helped fill my cup too. So, bear medicine came in at a time where bear might mean something very different to another person. So I think when people are, and that's where I encourage people to think about that. Like, what would you need to help release something in your world, Tara? Like right now, maybe it's dragon for you. Might take down a lot of things that need to be taken down.
Innuendos. Whispered
Right.
secrets.
Yeah. But that's up to you.
I understand. I think that's an excellent way. I will say this. If you are planning to release, do it with purpose. Have a purpose to release this. Why now? Why is it this time? And if you want to manifest after that, besides the self-love and the self-worth, if you want to start working with really big intentions, be powerful in the work you do with that. Use powerful words. Have your blueprint. Have the tools ready so that spirit can look down and be like, oh, she wants me to do the work for her. No, spirit can look down and say, oh, I have something that we can do together.
Exactly. And the more that you do, the more you hear that book that heal that shit, the more you heal it, the more you evolve, the more your soul lifts up and it elevates and it evolves.
And remember that butchered saying from that Bible, healer, heal thyself.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not exactly the right quote, but that's the way we use it now, those of us that use it. But it's true, though. I cannot be of service in a really strong and empowering way to others around me if I cannot work on myself. And you don't have to be in that perfect space, right? You don't have to be in the perfect space. You have to be a continual development and work in progress.
Yeah. And I think it's really important. I think if anybody takes anything away from today is you don't have to be perfect, just that work in progress.
I was going to say, if you're going to take anything away from this, you don't have a parking angel. Okay, I'm going to go now. Are you going to go?
I'm going to go too. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel.
Go and check us out on all our platforms. Make sure you give us a 5-star review because we are so we will see you guys later. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.